All right, so we're to write yet another episode of Better Habits. And I'm super excited today, as always, because we have another certified habit coach who's been on the platform for a long, long time. We're about to hear his story, his habits, and lots of wisdom. Well, let's welcome Ruben. Ruben, welcome to the Better Habits podcast.
Thank you, Lydia, for having me here today. I'm really excited, and I really appreciate you taking the time for having me. So thank you.
Yay. No, thank you. Thank you for being here, for being I don't say old, but long standing. one of the long standing coaches and Coachdotme. I'm super excited to have you. So now we always start with the basics. Tell us in the coaching capacity who you are as a coach and who do you work with, what do you help with.
Very good. So yes, as you said, I've been with the Coach.me for a relatively long time, I would say. Could be 4, even 5 years, which is I mean, it's already kind of a, a nice time. So on my back. I kind of got in love with the methodology behind Coach.me and this approach, focusing on habits, which was and is still quite unique, I would say. And also the methodology behind said, this is very, very powerful. Um, and I consider myself, kind of an animal of habits. I mean, this is good and bad.
Maybe
I
we
mean,
all
can be
are. Maybe
uh,
we all are.
probably we all are, some more than others, maybe. But yes, and then so I started in the platform, really focusing on one thing that is cold showers. Um,
Mhm.
this is coming from my interest in the Wim Hof method. I have really followed the courses. I have done the
And you went to
instructor.
his retreat, or
Yeah, because I mean, at the beginning, I did the kind of the 10-week course, etc. I mean, I really followed through. It was quite amazing. And then I keep practicing for 2 years, after that, every single day, and I said, hey, I need to go to the next level. and and then I decided to become an instructor, and then you have to, I mean, there are different ways, but you can spend 1 week in Poland, and he's there, and it was really nice experience, challenging in some cases, of course, because you have to challenge yourself. And then really I said, hey, I think that this is so powerful. This cold exposure is has so many benefits. I want to make sure that I can transfer that, to other people. And this is kind of the main reason to jump into Coach.me, to say, hey, with this habit philosophy behind, the methodology, I can help people, to get better health, better mood, more energy. This is what really triggered me, to jump into into
Good.
Coach.me.
Sure. It's like, psychologists, scientists say that we have this mirror neurons. So when someone, for example, yawn, we also yawn. When someone smiles, we also smiles, right? We have this. So I think for many of us, and maybe I'm projecting, but what I hear from you, from others, when we experience the power of transformation, of self development, like you said, with cold showers, with the breathing, Wim Hof method, it just becomes so much. You cannot keep it. You want you want to share with as many people as possible, right?
That's, yeah, that's right. It's kind of your service, to the community at the end is, hey, I have
Mhm.
something that I feel that, the power of it, in me, and I mean, I'm convinced that other people can benefit from that, and I can be, there, helping others, to get there.
Yeah.
So I said, why not trying this?
Okay, and tell me if I'm wrong. You're not full-time coach, right? You have a job,
Yeah,
which
that is
is risk
absolutely right.
management. Risk
That's
management
correct. I'm a risk manager, yeah, in a company. Yes, that's right.
in a company. You know, I used to be a risk management officer.
Oh, I
So
didn't
we're
know. This is
colleagues.
wow. Then this is good to
And yeah, I was well, I started working with PwC, the accounting company, back in just right after university, in audit as accountant. But then I got pregnant, I had kids, and then I wanted to go back, but it was difficult to go back as a consultant or accountant because it's a very demanding job. So they said, "Do you want to go to risk management?" Because honestly, nobody wants that job. Nobody wants that job. And I'm like, sure. And they allowed me to work part time. They allowed me to work from home. And, you know, and eventually my career progressed so quickly because honestly, at that time, I was, with 3 kids, 3 young kids. I was ready to do anything just to get out of the house and, to do something to talk to adults. Anyway, yeah, I was doing risk management. Everybody's like, that must be such a boring job. I'm like, well, it's not that boring. The job is only as much as you make it to be. Honestly, any job can be boring. Any job can be fun. I think for me, I was the most fun risk management officer in the world.
That's
Anyway,
fantastic.
5 years I was the risk management officer. I became a director. I progressed so quickly. Anyway, I was just I thought it was just so
Impressive.
so so fun. So coaching for you, like, what do you consider for people who are like thinking, listeners who listen to this, maybe not who's thinking about habits, but thinking about coaching as a career, because we have a mixture of listeners. Uh, what do you consider coaching? Is it a hobby? Is it, like you mentioned, it's a service? Is it a side hustle? Is it something you maybe gonna do when you retire? Like, what do you consider of it?
That's a fantastic question, and there are so many dimensions, Lydia, on that, which is difficult. I mean, for me to choose. But um, I mean, for me, the first thing was, can I add value outside of my daily job? Because I mean, at the end, it's kind of, yeah, you have a professional activity, okay? This is nice. I mean, can be sometimes you can have good experiences, also not so good, etc. So, but at the end, you have a professional activity behind, which is nice. But sometimes, I mean, I was asking also myself, hey, can I do something outside of this? Of a like a company, corporation, etc. Can I test myself? To do something else. Kind of and and what that could be, that makes sense to me. Because at the end, you have to jump into something that makes sense to you, and then you can think about, hey, what is my target? Is just to make money, or I don't know, or whatever. I think that, and for me was, I want to start something where I feel that I add value somewhere, because if I don't add value, nothing else makes sense. This is where I started. So.
Sure. Yeah, and I know it was a surprise question. So it is, it's a little. It may be a little bit of everything right now, right? And you know, I think you get a full freedom, full control of it, which is also nice because compared to the corporation where There are rules, there are other people, there are politics. That's something that's repelled me from staying in the corporation. Here, being a coach, like you have full flexibility, you have full freedom, you can go different directions, you can choose how many clients you have, how you're going to coach them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And the added value element, which is huge. I mean, huge. Because it's very hard. Again, as someone who worked in corporation, you're doing something valuable, like you get paid for it, so it must be valuable. But it's very hard to feel the impact,
That's
right?
right.
In coaching, the impact is so, I don't want to say immediate, but it's much quicker and it's much more tangible and it's much more personal. At least for me, that was always the biggest kind of benefit of being a coach, um, that feedback, that benefit that you bring in, that change that you bring into the world is very tangible, is very personal, and it's pretty quick compared to maybe others
But
activities.
I think that you are touching a very relevant point there. So very, very important is yeah, what is the feedback from the environment of the impact that you have on it, And I think that with the coaching, as you said, you have this direct feedback, you know, which is super meaningful. And when you work in I don't know, corporations, big organizations, sometimes it's very, very difficult to get. And you might get lost in many activities, but at the end, the reward of understanding that what you are doing is is having a positive impact, is changing the lives of others. This is, and I and really, for me, this is so important. I don't know. There is, I'm trying always to find this at work. That a what I this point of understanding if what you are doing really makes sense, in your environment, is making the lives of the people around me better in some way, or I'm just a pain in the neck for everyone. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
this is and creating that sometimes it's not so easy, but yeah, as you said, coaching is helping you to get this direct feedback. And I will say, I wanted to make a comment on, because I also think that is really um um at the end, it's a micro company. I mean, you are a micro company on
Yes,
yourself. So
company of one.
that's and it's quite impressive. And you realize that, hey, I'm able to make certain impact, but there are so many things around, making sure that you are able to reach to people. People can see you, that you can really because if you are invisible, that's, oh, nobody is gonna benefit, from what you do. I mean, there are so many elements that um, is very rich in terms of experience. I will say it's not only one thing; it's many things together.
Yeah, absolutely. And from here, I want to flow into the kind of the habits and the impact. I know in your Coach Me profile, you mentioned that the biggest impact of your own habits, you had self-improvement and maybe the cold showers, the breathing, maybe others. You felt, especially when you became a father. And I want to hear more on that.
Yes, I think that this was a. I mean, by the way, I became a father quite late. I would say, I don't know. It is what it is, but
How
uh,
old are your kids? How many have? How old are they?
I have a daughter. She's 11 years old. And it was a kind of I would say a pivotal moment for me, uh, because for me was okay. Now you're gonna be a father, okay, and what kind of father would you like to be? I mean, for me, it was, hey, so uh, my situation is gonna change. There is a new life coming, and whether I want it or not, or I like it or not, whatever. I mean, I really want it, okay? But I'm gonna be, but the point is, I'm gonna be a reference. It is what it is. I mean, you cannot change that, you know. So, and what kind of reference I want to be. I mean, this was a big question for me, you know, and saying, there are certain things that maybe I don't think that this is the right reference, you know. So, I mean, looking at myself and saying, and this, I decided to start putting things in motion, you know, to bring this better version, you know, or the version that I say, hey, I would like this to be the reference, not that, you know, and this and not that. And this is why I said, for me, this was a very special moment in time, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. I have 4 kids. And I started having when I was pretty young, but and there wasn't much thought in the beginning, but that was always the thought. So whenever something I was making a decision about something in my life, I'm like, okay, I'm not just I'm not just doing it for myself, but also what kind of example am I setting for my kids? Because I truly believe, like I really love your how you formulated as a reference, but I truly believe that we don't, you know, our kids are not educated by us telling them something. They learn by observing us. That's why I love the reference, how you formulate the reference. They observe by watching us day by day, how we behave, what we say, when actually we are not watching, right? So what way more important, not what we tell them, but actually how we live our lives day by day. And these are our habits, exactly. So whenever I'm making a decision, okay, shall I do this or that? Always my one of the question I ask myself, is this the example I want to set for my kids? And if the answer is that doesn't look good, then then the answer is okay, I have to consider. Or if like, yeah, I really want them to see me doing this, even though right now they might not benefit from it, like me going to another course or me going away, study something, build a business, and maybe not choosing passion over a stable job. I mean, there are choices that might not benefit them in this moment, but this is the type of values, this is the type of behavior I want them to see, and then they will make their own choices.
Right. I mean, that is absolutely right, you know, and I think that you can, as always, you know, or everything, you can take that from so many angles. But for me, instead of kind of feeling that, hey, you know, this is a high responsibility, this is a burden on myself, etc., I try to take it as a booster somehow, you know, so something that is gonna,
Yeah.
you know, help me to get to a different place, a better place,
Yeah.
etc. And really, I think that I'm super grateful for that, you know, so for the opportunity of being a father and having this as yeah, a source of energy, you know, which is so
Yeah.
important because at the end also you need to find your source of energy, you know, so
No, absolutely, absolutely. There is a term in self-development, forcing function, right? When you set up something that kind of forces you to do. So kids, in a way, are forcing function, right? Because they force us to be better versions of ourselves, to put us to higher standards. So in a good way, in a motivating, in a motivating. Okay, I want to jump back to now the habits.
right.
I want us to get into habits. Cold showers. Oh my god, I hate. I have to be honest. Confession time. I hate. I hate cold showers. Although I have a low blood pressure, So for me, cold shower actually is a very good thing because if I make myself to do it, my circulation goes,
Right.
improves, and then the pressure goes up. I feel more because I usually have
Energized.
cold
Fingers. Yeah.
fingers, cold feet. Always, even in summer, I'm wearing stuff because of the low blood pressure. So cold showers are really good for me. I know this also when you have migraine. Anyway, but I hate them. So okay, tell us uh, how cold showers. Let's start with a basic question. How cold showers improved your life? What are the benefits that you personally experienced from them? And how? Yeah, second question. How difficult it was for you? Was it a love from the first sight?
And I will say that for me, yeah, I don't know, during, I would say all my life I have been kind of testing a bit, this cold exposure, a bit, nothing, but this kind of, hey, this is cold, let's try it, so these kind of things, a bit of a bit childish, but
Okay.
kind of playing with the cold, so always has a little bit of attraction for me.
Mm.
Um, I think that, um, and this was especially something that I discovered during um, uh, the instructor course, was okay, what is the main reason behind, because, there was we were discussing, what is the main thing that is bringing you here? I said, wow, I mean, there were people explaining things about this and that, super deep things. I said, wow,
The physiological benefits,
many, yeah, or psychological, or I mean, many different,
psychological. Okay.
really a lot of things, that, yeah, the cold exposure and the Wim Hof method changed their lives. I said,
Okay.
wow, this is incredible, but I didn't feel I was in the same place, because it's not like I went because a particular problem that I had. And at the
Okay.
end, I really discovered, hey, for me, this is
So
kind
you were
of
just curious. You were just curious.
more. I mean, I discovered that this is a superpower. Somehow I'm capable
Okay.
of doing things that many other people are not doing, not because they can't, but because they don't challenge themselves.
Mm.
And I said, this is super nice. And then something that I thought that it was very difficult to do, or maybe not, hey, I can do it now. And I feel good doing it, and I get the benefits, I get the energy back, when you do this in the morning, the cold shower. I mean, you get energized. Um,
You do the energy during or after? You feel good during or after?
I will say that you start feeling good. I mean, when you do it many times, you even enjoy it at the end. So
No.
yeah, I can tell. Yes, absolutely. So it's hey, this is a superpower. I can do things that other people are just not doing because they decide not to do it, and I get benefits that otherwise could be very complicated. I don't need to take three different tablets or pills for this or for that. I mean, my body is my circulation, etc. So my mood, many things are improving just
Yeah.
with just 2 minutes in the shower. So, and everybody, I mean, many people or most of the people have access to cold showers, or cold water.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tell us, what do you do? What's your routine? Is 2 minute just straight cold shower every morning,
Yeah,
or?
I mean, normally what I do is I normally work out before showering, so at home, so I have my 30 minutes of workout, etc., and then I just go straight into the cold shower. And
Okay.
in this case, some people they need a bit of warm before. In this case, I always kind of, I just go cold shower, period. This is it, and it's
Okay.
nice. And then also you realize that the difference between summer and winter time, because the water is different temperatures. So
Yes.
winter is a bit, and then you go. Summer is not that case. But
Do you need to convince yourself to step into it? Or you
I
look
don't know.
forward to it?
I look forward to it, but also sometimes, and before I was a bit more strict, but sometimes I feel, hey, today, no. And then you don't do it. I mean, why not? I mean,
Mm.
this is, you also have that flexibility as well, you know. So that,
Okay. Okay. One day I need to do it. Like the only time I really enjoyed it, I'm Russian. I lived in Russia for 40 years. So we have the kind of Russian sauna experience. So once we do it in the winter, you get out of the sauna straight into the snow.
yes.
Well, you go outside, it's minus 20, you go naked into the snow. I didn't jump into the snow. I think that's too much. But even they go in barefoot with the snow, and
Yes.
it's actually enjoyable. But it's the contrast. So you just run around a little bit and maybe put some snow on yourself, and then jump back to the sauna. That's the only time I really enjoy it. But yeah.
Yeah, again, I think that your case is for many people, they say, why on earth do I need to do that? You know, is this really, I mean, there is no need. I mean, and you know, you're gonna, I mean, this is not a life or death topic, you know.
Yeah.
So okay, I mean, you can continue doing that, but some people decide to challenge themselves, and you know, in some cases it's a bit more difficult because they say, I want to do it, but I'm struggling to do it, and then you can start kind of
Mm.
guiding them, you know, through this to make it a bit easier, you know, and even enjoy it at the end. As I said.
Yeah, but let's get there. Like I want to dig into this. So imagine you have a new client and they say, and usually I'm just curious when people come to you and they sign up for the cold shower habit. Do you find that they usually sign up because they want to challenge themselves psychologically, or because they understand the health benefits of cold shower? Because there are a lot of obviously health benefits of the cold
Right.
shower.
And I'm gonna say a couple of things because of, you know, cold showers is a bit of a particular case here.
Mhm.
I would say that the people that are determined to take cold showers, in many cases, they just do it by themselves, you know, so they don't need a coach. They say, hey, I'm going to take cold showers. I'm going
Okay.
to try to do so. It's kind of a coach is completely irrelevant to many of
Okay.
the people trying to take cold showers. Okay. The
Yeah.
ones that they don't want to take cold showers, they don't want to take cold showers. So this is, this is also absolutely clear. Okay.
Okay.
But then there is a small portion that uh, they are just not consistent. They have done it here and there,
Mm.
etc., but they are not getting into this rhythm, you know, or consistency to get the cold showers on a almost daily basis. And then I had a few clients, you know, on that because otherwise there is very small, let's say, I would say, movement in this area. You know, I mean, it's important to me, but in this case, again, people that they want to do it mainly do it. You know, in their way. I don't know exactly how they do, I mean, how consistent they are, etc. The ones that they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. And then there are few of them that they want to get this consistency, you know, because they are
Mm.
very irregular. And then you can help them, you know.
Okay. And the reason behind it, still, my question is, they want to get consistent. Is because they want to challenge themselves to be consistent, or because they realize the health benefits of the consistency and they come to you? Just curious.
Yeah, I will say that the main topic that I identified is that they want to see themselves as someone that is, hey, I'm someone taking cold showers regularly.
Mm.
They want to have this. You know,
The
it's not like they do
identity.
it from time to time, yes, but they want to reflect and see themselves, you know, when they
Yeah.
talk about themselves, hey, I'm someone taking cold showers and then doing that, you know, in a regular basis.
Yeah.
And this is me, you
Yeah.
know. So it's a bit making sure that they crystallize this identity, you know, something like this.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Thank you. And sorry for being,
No,
for
no,
pushing through.
I really like, I mean, this is, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm curious, and it's really important. So a lot of people, I think you nail it. There is a small portion of people who do it. They don't need anybody. They just decide it and they do it. I call them robots. They're there are very few of them. Okay, I mean, good for them. Okay, but majority of people, and it's a very small proportion. Now, there are a small proportion, or whatever proportion of people, they don't want to do it, and they're okay with that. You know, That's another group of people. And then there are those, like you mentioned, they kind of want it, they kind of try it, but it's hard for them. It's hard to sustain it. And then the moment they come to you as a coach is when they say, look, I really love to have this identity. I'm a non-smoker. I'm an exercise, like not just to you, but in any coach. I am someone who exercises. And I know there's a noun for that, but like they really want to embrace this new identity. I'm a cold shower taker. I'm a I'm a good father, whatever the identity is. And for the identity to happen, you need to have the consistency. Without consistency, you can't really claim it. You can claim it to others, but you can't claim it internally, right? You know it's fake. You can't do that. I really love that. So I think we digged something very important here. I love it. I love it. All right. So what are the I'm gonna kind of wrapping up. We're gonna finish with something practical. Let's get practical. People listening, they're like, okay, oh, maybe I should try this crazy thing that these two crazy people are talking about. So where do they start? How do, when they come to you, they say, yeah, I do that, but not every day. What do you usually start with?
I think that it depends where the person is, if
Yeah.
it's really a challenge where related to, this is super tough for me to get into the cold water, etc. I mean, normally is as simple, and I'm gonna simplify that because it's not something hyper complicated, but it's really make sure that you play at the end with cold water. And you play it, you decide how far you go, but you make sure that you turn at the end, the water to the cold side, and then you play. And you see how much you want to play today, and then at least you finish with that. I will say that this is the first step, so for me, it's kind of just play with it. You don't have any target, any goal there. Just, I don't know, 30 seconds of the cold shower running, you play with it, you decide if you want more, and if you want only the hands or the feet or something else. This is
Yeah,
your
that's
choice.
what I do.
Play with it, but play with that, so
Yeah.
again, nothing is not rocket science, what we are doing here, but
Yeah. No, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's still, we come back to this again and again. The coaches I talk about, it's the the fundamentals are the same for all the habits. Start tiny and make it fun, right? That's what you're doing.
absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't make this a little bit fun, then you don't go through the pain. This is as simple as that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. All right. I think that's a good advice. If people want to try it, they can do this, just at the end of your normal shower. Just put your put your thing to the cold and then, just play with it. So I think that's a good start. And if you like it, come to Ruben and he will guide you. He will guide you further. I think this is one of the habits where really having someone on the other side and keeping you accountable and just sharing your experience. I think that's really
And
cool.
Lydia, I would like to say also very briefly that
Yeah.
sometimes many people have kind of they want to do something, uh, they try, but I think sometimes kind of trying to get a coach that can help you on that is a massive step ahead, um, because that helps you really to materialize what you're trying to do, instead of just struggling yourself with something, you know, some people needs a bit of accountability behind, some guidance, and I think that then you really take the step that is helping you to get there, so.
totally agree. I think not. I think majority of people, again, coming back to these different groups, I think there are a small group of people who are like robots, or they can do, they decide, they do, no problem, right? Then there's a small portion of people like they don't care. I don't know. They just go with the flow, or in a bad way, right? They don't want to challenge the status quo. They live day by day, follow the rules, follow the whatever life gives them. But then there is a large group of people, and I think it's majority of people who want the change, but they struggle to make the change by themselves. I'm like that,
Yeah.
and a lot of people I know and my clients are like that. They really want the change. You want the change, but you can't make it. And there is no shame. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
It's a brave step, I agree.
Hiring a coach, it's showing that you're serious. It's showing that you're committed. It's showing that you are on the path to improvement. Yeah, totally. And I think people need to, I think we still need to do a lot of education, explaining to people that majority of us need help. Majority of us need this accountability, support, help, in different capacities: coaches, mentors, therapists, friends, buddies,
Right.
all, sometimes in more complex situation, like this is a habit, and it's, if you have a coach, I think you're fine, but there are more complex issues. For example, last week we talked with Leo about addictions. He helps
Yes.
clients with addictions or bad habits. We had so much fun. in the beginning of the podcast, he said, "Oh, bad habits, it's like a song." There is
Right.
a song, bad habits. I'm like, oh no, now it's playing in my head all the time. I say bad habits, I have Ed Sheeran song in my head. Anyway, but serious now. He helps. He helps with addiction. Now, addiction is way more complex matter. Sometimes coach is not enough. Well, in a lot of situations, coach is not enough. You need a therapist. You need a support group. You need, sometimes you even need medication, depending on what sort of addiction it is, right? So, majority of us, and I don't have the percentages, majority of us need help in all the way we have. So any help you can get, please go and get it. It's a brave step. It's a strength, not a weakness. And we have amazing coaches like Ruben, and I really hope you enjoyed this conversation, because I honestly did. Now I am super pumped to go and take the cold shower. Not now, but tomorrow morning. I will report back. Okay.
Fantastic. I will wait for your report then.
All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. The links to Reuben's profile and Coach.me will be down below. Reuben, thank you. And I hope to see you again here.
Thank you, Lidia, for having me here. It was a fantastic conversation. I really enjoyed it.